I get it. When you're setting up a home office or a small studio, the first thing you think of is, I'll just grab a cheap power strip and call it a day. Then the power flickers, a surge hits, and you're staring at a dead laptop, a corrupted video file, or a frantic reboot. That regret is what makes me pause before I tell you whether the CyberPower PR2200 LCD Smart App Sinewave UPS is actually a smarter buy or another false economy gamble. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk you through why that extra $150 plus might actually be worth the peace of mind. First off, the category we're dealing with here is a high-capacity UPS for serious desktop rigs, small servers, or content creation stations. You're not talking about a 600 VA unit that can keep a router alive for 5 minutes. You're looking at 2200 VA/1980W, which translates to roughly 1012 minutes of full load runtime on a typical 600W workstation. That's a crucial distinction because the cost gap between a budget strip and a professional UPS isn't just about the price tag, it's about the risk you're willing to shoulder when a storm knocks out the mains. The PR2200 LCD is marketed as a Sinewave model, which means it mimics the clean power shape that sensitive equipment expects, unlike cheaper simulated sine units that can cause whining fans or hiccups in certain adapters. Who should actually buy this? If you run a multitasking workstation, say, a dual monitor setup with a powerful CPU, a dedicated graphics card, external drives, and perhaps a small NAS for backups, this UPS gives you enough juice to save your work and shut down properly. I've seen creators in forums mention that after a brief outage they had roughly 7 minutes to finish rendering a short clip before the system powered down. That window is often enough to prevent data loss and avoid the dreaded file corrupt message. Small business owners who rely on a single PC for point-of-sale or basic accounting also fit the bill, because the UPS's automatic voltage regulation, AVR, helps smooth out those pesky brownouts that can otherwise fry hard drives over time. On the flip side, if you're a laptop-only user or you only need to keep a router and a few IoT devices alive, you'll likely be overpaying. A 75 VA strip with surge protection would cover those needs without the extra bulk. Similarly, gamers who only care about keeping the console on for a few seconds before a power loss probably don't need a 2 kilowatts UPS. A smaller 1000 VA model would already give you a few minutes of buffer and cost significantly less. Now, let's talk real-world strengths. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed the PR2200 LCD was the LCD panel. It isn't just a generic LED indicator, it's a full-function display that shows input voltage, output voltage, battery charge, and estimated runtime. In practice, that means you can glance at the unit and instantly know whether you're suffering a minor dip or a serious outage. The panel is also extendable, meaning CyberPower's app can push those stats to your phone, which is handy if your workstation is tucked away under a desk or behind a server rack. During a recent thunderstorm, I saw the app warn me a minute before the UPS would start drawing from its battery, giving me just enough time to hit the save and shut down shortcut in my OS. That kind of proactive alert is something you won't get from a basic strip. Another practical advantage is the 10-outlet layout. 6 of those are battery-backed, while the remaining 4 are surge-only. That split allows you to prioritize critical gear like your computer, monitors, and external SSD while still protecting peripheral devices, speakers, printer, router, from surges without draining the battery on non-essential loads. The automatic voltage regulation is also more than a buzzword. In areas where the grid voltage swings between 210V and 240V, the AVR steps in to smooth the wave, preventing the UPS from unnecessarily draining its battery during minor fluctuations. Users who have lived through brownout seasons report that they've seen the UPS run for days without a single battery discharge, simply because the AVR kept the output steady. But let's look at the hidden trade-offs. The unit is a tower-style UPS, which means it takes up more floor space than a rack mount or a compact line interactive model. If you have a cramped home office, you'll need to allocate at least a foot of width for it. The unit also weighs about 65 pounds, so moving it even once is a chore, something to consider if you frequently rearrange your setup. Battery runtime, while decent for a 2200 VA unit, still falls short if you run a high-end workstation at full load, the 1980W rating. In that scenario, you might see only 45 minutes before the UPS signals a low battery condition, which may not be enough to gracefully shut down a system that's rendering a 4K video. One more practical note, the PR2200 LCD ships with a 3-year warranty that even covers the battery, which is a rarity for UPS units in this price bracket. That